Hello, my name is Christina, and in exactly 1 week, I will be on my way to Orlando, Florida to do the Disney Cultural Representative Program for Norway, or in the Norwegian Pavilion, which is so crazy, but I'm very excited. Trying to realize it, I expect it to hit soon. So it is a job, you will make money, you will profit from this. However, it has not been free, to say the least, to start this program. So that is what I'm going to talk about in today's video. I have made a note on my phone with everything that I have spent before I have even arrived or made a penny, just because it kind of surprised me a little, like how much you actually do have to spend. I have kind of an unstable and bad foot, which has made me hesitant on this application process, because I'm like, what if it doesn't work out? And then I paid so much money, and that was just the first fee that I knew of. Like, if I spent that would be a lot to miss out on if I have to go home after a week or two. But then as time has passed, a lot of more money and time has been spent. So without further ado, I'm just going to talk about all the things that I have paid or spent money for just to do this program. So first of all, I don't know how this works in every country, but Epcot, or this cultural program, obviously have a lot of countries, and in Norway the interview has to take place physical, which means you can't do over Zoom or something, and that interview takes place in Oslo. I luckily live right outside of Oslo, so I just spent $7 on the train to get there each way. But let's say I lived far up the country and had to take a plane, that would take a lot of time and probably a lot more money. So that's something to keep in mind if you don't live near the interview place. And then if you're lucky and made the program, you have 1 week to pay an acceptance fee. If you don't do that, you will lose your role and job basically, and that fee is not small. It is on $440, which is like an administration fee and your first like rent, I think. So that was kind of a lot, pretty fast, like in a long time before you even go. So as I said, I wasn't sure because my foot, but then I only had 1 week to like decide this, but I ended up paying, and then it is your first week rent too, so it's not like that much for nothing, but also something to keep in mind and that I didn't know existed, kind of. And then the visa. When you do this program, it is a Q1 visa, and I honestly want to mention the time that I've spent on this too. The visa is a process in itself. So for my visa application, I paid $210, and the US Embassy in Norway is also in Oslo, which was easy for me to get to. But again, if you have to fly out just for the visa appointment, that is also just a lot of money gone, which sucks. But you don't get the visa right away, so you can choose to have it delivered to your door for $50. But I decided to pick it up because I work in Oslo. So I also wrote down transport and parking for the visa, $5. I'm including everything, the small things add up to. For the visa application, you also need like a little visa / like passport picture, and the US standards are different than normal photo booths. So I went to like not photograph shop, but like, what is it called, like cameras and stuff like that. They take pictures, and for 2 small pictures with the American visa requirements, I paid $30. We're getting closer to the end of the spending list, but not there yet. We obviously need to get there. I'm first going from Oslo to London, and that cost me $100, and then from London to Orlando is $488, and that's a lot, but I honestly didn't feel like it was too bad. I expected to pay at least like $800. And then Disney have arrivals every Monday, and it's usually really early, like at 8 a.m. And very few flights go to Orlando in time for that, so it's really like recommended to stay overnight at a hotel nearby. So I am doing that with 2 other Norwegian girls actually that reached out to me. So us 3 sharing 1 room makes it cheaper than having one by myself, you know. But I paid $350 for $35, sorry, kroners to dollars for 1 night, which is like pretty much at the Flamingo crossing. So I have to probably take an Uber from the airport to the hotel. You do need insurance. You do not want to end up at the hospital in the US without insurance, I'm pretty sure. And this one I haven't booked fully yet, and I leave in 1 week, so that is really my goal for this week, to find that out. But the cheapest that I have found so far is like $100 a month-ish. I know Disney offer their own like insurance after 3 months. I don't know how much that costs or how much that covers, but I have heard from Norwegians at least that is probably not the best or the most recommended for us when you have to have an insurance for the first time anyways. But yes, for a year it will probably be a lot of money going to insurance too. I did an exchange year in the US a few years back. To do a sport, they had to like check out my overall health or something, and they didn't do shit at that doctor's office. I sat with the iPad and filled out everything my own, and I'm pretty sure I had insurance, but that still cost me like $300 $300 or something. I don't remember for sure, but it was like a lot for literally nothing. So if you are just unlucky, I would not be in the US without insurance. So that sucks to pay, but I feel like it's an investment kind of. Now we're getting really close to the finish line of what we spent, I promise. But a lot of small things, like I really want to keep my number, but I can't use my Norwegian phone subscription in the US because that will just be impractical and expensive. But to keep my number, I have to freeze that, and for a whole year that will cost me $20. And then obviously you need to get a new phone subscription there. And then if you do not work in food, you need to get your own black shoes. I think there are like some type of requirement for that, and you are walking and standing a lot of the day. So people are recommended to invest in those shoes, so some money might go there too. I do work in food, but I also, as I said, have foot problems. So I'm gonna do some research about what shoes I can get, but maybe that will be like $100 more. You also need black socks. I don't think I have owned a pair of black socks in my life, so I need to buy that too. Not the most expensive thing on this list, but and that is what I have spent so far. As I said, I go in 1 week, so maybe there are like some more things that I haven't thought about yet, and if so, maybe I'll do like an update video on the end of the year or something. But then I'll also read just like everything that adds up when you move, especially abroad and across the world. I'm gonna bring as much as I can in that luggage. Florida is warm, so I don't need a lot of space for warm clothes, you know, but I just feel bad if I have to buy new things that I'm gonna leave behind for a year. I feel like I am planning on making a pack with me video because I've been researching for that and haven't found a lot of tips, I feel like. So I am working on my packing list and can share that with you if that is something that would be fun to see. A lot of like kitchen supplies are supposed to be there, but people say it might differ from every apartment too. So suddenly you need like your own pan or something, and that just is fine, and like it's something you would have to buy if you were moving anyways, but like it just sucks. And when it's a lot of things like that just adding up, it becomes more expensive. So that is what I had for today and what I've spent so far before starting the Disney program. If you have any tips or anything at all, just let me know in the comments. If you have any questions too, just let me know and I'll respond. And I hope you will have a fantastic week and year in life. And I'll see you guys next time.